Welcome back to Story Orbit N, everyone. I'm Jessica, and today we're diving into something very close to all of us, whether we like it or not, house chores.
And I'm Tom. Yes, chores, the eternal war between laziness and responsibility. I mean, who really wakes up excited to scrub a toilet?
Hey, some people like it. Don't judge. I personally enjoy vacuuming. It's like immediate satisfaction. You see the dirt disappear?
Immediate satisfaction? I think the only satisfaction I get is when I finally sit down after doing chores and eat a snack.
Oh, come on. But actually, today is perfect for English learners because we'll talk about different words and expressions for housework. And I want to start with something basic, to sweep.
Right. Sweeping is when you use a broom to clean the floor, usually the dust, crumbs, or small dirt. The noun is broom. For example, you can say, I sweep the kitchen every morning, or she is sweeping the porch.
Exactly. And the verb is irregular in spelling because the past tense is swept. So you don't say sweeps, you say swept. Like, I swept the floor yesterday. Another example, he swept away the leaves in the garden.
And that reminds me of something funny. I once tried to sweep leaves in the garden during a windy day. Bad idea. The wind blew everything back, and I looked like I was dancing with leaves.
Dancing with leaves?
I was sweating and angry, and the neighbors were watching.
Well, at least it's a story. And that's how you can remember the verb. Always connect words with stories.
Speaking of cleaning, one thing people forget is to dust. This means to clean the surfaces in the house, usually with a cloth, to remove fine dirt. And the funny thing is that in English, the verb to dust can also mean the opposite, like putting dust or powder on something. For example, to dust a cake with sugar.
Oh, yes, that's confusing for learners. Imagine someone says, I need to dust the furniture, and the learner imagines putting sugar on the table. That would be hilarious.
And delicious, don't you think?
Don't give people ideas. But let's explain. Dust as a noun is the tiny particles of dirt. As a verb, when you dust furniture, you remove that dirt. But in cooking, you dust with sugar, which means to lightly sprinkle sugar. So context is everything.
Exactly. And another classic chore is to do the laundry. That means washing clothes. You can say, I need to do the laundry today, or she did the laundry yesterday.
And for the machine, in English we say washing machine. Some people also just say washer. For example, put the clothes in the washing machine.
And when you dry clothes, if you use a machine, that's called a dryer. So you say, put the clothes in the dryer. But if you hang them outside, you can say, I hang my clothes on the line. Or, I hang them on a clothes rack.
Yes, that's important. Learners sometimes confuse wash the clothes and do the laundry. They mean the same, but do the laundry is more common and natural in everyday English.
True. But now, Jessica, I need to tell you a story. This one is legendary.
Oh, what did you do?
One time, I thought I was being smart. I wanted to clean the bed sheets, but I didn't know much about cleaning products. So I took bleach and I poured it directly on the bed.
Wait, you poured bleach on the bed? Not on the sheets, but on the bed itself?
Yes, the mattress.
What? Tom?
I thought it would disinfect everything. I imagined myself as a superhero against bacteria.
And what happened?
Well, the bed had a giant white stain, and also it smelled terrible for weeks. I couldn't sleep without crying from the smell.
Oh, Tom, you literally destroyed your bet. For our listeners, bleach is a very strong cleaning liquid that makes clothes or surfaces white. You must never use it on fabrics that you don't want to damage. For example, you can use it on white clothes, but not on colored clothes because it removes the color.
Exactly. It's like a color-eating monster. And it also damages materials like mattresses or wood. So please don't be like me.
That's actually great vocabulary to learn, to bleach. For example, I bleached my white shirts. But never say I bleached my bed. That's not normal.
Unless you want to sleep on a chemical experiment.
True. So, moving on, another common verb is to cook. Of course, everyone knows this, but learners sometimes confuse cook and do the cooking. Both are correct. For example, I cook dinner every night, or I do the cooking in my family.
And don't forget the word chef. A chef is a professional cook. But in everyday life, we usually just say cook for the person, like, she is a good cook. That doesn't mean she is a professional, but that she prepares tasty food.
Now, another good one is to wash the dishes. You can also say to do the dishes. For example, I will wash the dishes after dinner, or he never does the dishes.
And if you have a machine, that's called a dishwasher. In British English, some people say wash up instead. For example, I'll wash up after tea. That means to clean the plates and cutlery.
Cutlery is another word we should explain. Cutlery means knives, forks, and spoons. In American English, people often say silverware, even if it's not made of silver. For example, please put the cutlery on the table, or the silverware is in the drawer.
Exactly. In talking about putting things away, another expression is to put groceries in the fridge. For example, when I come back from the supermarket, I put the groceries in the fridge.
And learners sometimes say buying the food instead of doing the shopping. In English, you usually say, I need to do the shopping, or I went shopping yesterday. And when you are more specific, you can say, I need to buy some milk.
Good point. And while we are at it, let's talk about windows. Cleaning windows is the chore I hate the most.
Really? I like it. You spray the glass cleaner, you wipe with a cloth, and suddenly the world looks brighter.
I think I do it wrong. I always leave streaks. Streaks means those lines or marks that stay on the glass. For example, the window has streaks after cleaning.
A trick is to use newspaper to wipe the glass. It leaves fewer streaks.
Really? I thought that was just a myth. I prefer microfiber cloths.
No, it actually works. Try it.
Okay, but I'm still traumatized from the bleach incident. Every cleaning experiment feels dangerous now.
Don't worry, newspaper is safe. And while we're talking about cleaning, another phrase is to mop the floor. That's when you use a mop, which is like a stick with cloth at the end, and water with soap. You say, I mop the kitchen once a week.
And the past tense is mopped, with the double P. That's a grammar point for our listeners. For regular verbs ending in consonant-vowel consonant like mop, you double the consonant before adding ed. So mop becomes mopped. Another example, hop becomes hopped.
Exactly. But if the last consonant is W, X, or Y, you don't double it. For example, played becomes played, not played, and fixed becomes fixed, not fixed.
Nice grammar lesson. And here's another verb, to vacuum. That's when you use the vacuum cleaner, also called a hoover in British English. You can say, I vacuumed the living room yesterday.
Another chore is to tidy up. That means to organize things, not really deep cleaning, just making things look neat. For example, I tidied up the living room before the guests arrived.
And the noun is tidy. For example, her room is always tidy. And the opposite is messy. His desk is messy.
Which describes your desk right now, Tom.
It's called creative chaos.
That's what all messy people say.
Okay, one last story for today. One time, I tried to dry my clothes faster by putting them in the oven.
Wait, what?
Yes, I was desperate. I had no dryer, it was raining, and I thought, the oven makes heat, right?
Oh no, please tell me you didn't burn them.
I burned half a sock, and the kitchen smelled like barbecue fabric.
Listeners, please don't copy Tom's methods. Just use a hairdryer if you need to dry one piece quickly, but never an oven.
You live, you learn, and you buy new socks.
And you also waste an oven because now everything you cook will smell like socks. Imagine making pizza in that oven.
I did! And the pizza tasted like socks too. I had to eat it with my nose closed.
Tom, you are a danger to kitchens and bedrooms. But okay, let's take advantage of your disasters to explain vocabulary. The word oven is the machine in the kitchen that you use to bake or roast food. For example, I put the chicken in the oven. And another example, she baked cookies in the oven.
Exactly. And don't confuse oven with stove. The stove is the top part where you have burners or electric plates to cook with pots and pans. For example, I made soup on the stove. And the oven is the inside for baking.
Very good point. Learners sometimes mix them. And speaking of the stove, another chore is to clean the stove. That means wiping away oil, food pieces, and burned marks. You can say, I clean the stove after cooking pasta because it always spills over.
And I always forget, so the next time I cook, I find old pasta sauce that looks like a fossil.
You fossilize pasta? That's disgusting.
Hey, it's history on my stove.
Listeners, please don't let your food become history. Just clean it quickly after cooking. And that reminds me of another word, to scrub. That means to clean something very strongly, usually with pressure. For example, I had to scrub the pan to remove the burned rice.
Or, he scrubbed the bathroom floor. And by the way, bathrooms are a special level of cleaning.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that. One verb is to scrub the toilet. You use a toilet brush and special cleaning liquid. You can say, I scrubbed the toilet this morning.
That's always my least favorite. But we can also say to clean the sink or to wipe the mirror. The verb to wipe means to move a cloth across a surface to remove dirt or liquid. For example, I'll wipe the table after lunch.
Another nice one is to rinse. That means to wash something quickly with water, usually without soap. For example, I rinsed the cup before using it, or she rinsed her hands after gardening.
And talking about gardening, we also have chores outside. For example, to mow the lawn. That means to cut the grass with a machine called a lawnmower. You say, I mow the lawn every Saturday. And the past tense is mowed.
Yes, and learners sometimes confuse mow with cut. You can say, I cut the grass, or I mow the lawn. They're the same, but you don't say, I mow my hair. That would sound crazy. For hair, you say, I cut my hair.
Imagine going to the barber, and he comes with a lawn mower.
That would be terrifying. Another garden chore is to water the plants. You can say, I water the plants every morning. The verb to water means to give water to plants.
And if you forget, the plants die, which has happened to me many times.
Poor plants. So far, we have covered chores in the kitchen, bathroom, living room, bedroom, and garden. This is like a full tour of the house.
And the tour of my disasters. I should start a business. Tom's terrible cleaning tips.
No one would buy that. But actually, learners would love the mistakes because they remember vocabulary better.
True. Like, never bleach your bed, never dry socks in the oven, never let pasta sauce fossilize on the stove. These are unforgettable lessons.
Absolutely. And let's finish with one more important phrase, household chores. That's the general way to talk about all of these tasks. For example, household chores can be boring. Or children should help with household chores.
And one expression is to share the chores. That means to divide the work. For example, in our house, we share the chores. I do the cooking and she does the laundry.
Before we close today's episode of Story Orbitin, let's give our listeners a nice summary of everything they've learned. Because we have talked about a lot of different words and expressions.
Yes. And if we don't summarize, people might only remember that I bleached my bed and cooked socks in the oven.
Which is memorable, but not the point. So let's start with the basics. We learned the verb to sweep with the past tense sweat. For example, I sweep the kitchen every day. And I swept the floor yesterday.
Then we talked about to dust. That means to remove dust from furniture, but it can also mean to sprinkle something lightly, like sugar on a cake. Context is important.
Right. Then we had to do the laundry, which is washing clothes. The machine is a washing machine, and the drying machine is a dryer. You can also say, I wash the clothes, but do the laundry is more natural.
And of course, the cleaning disaster vocabulary. The word bleach, a strong chemical that removes color. For example, I bleached my white shirt, but never I bleached my bed.
Never. Then we talked about cooking vocabulary. The verb to cook, the phrase do the cooking, and the word chef for professionals, but also cook for someone who is good at preparing food.
Then came dishes. You can wash the dishes or do the dishes. The machine is a dishwasher. In British English, you sometimes hear wash up. And we explain the word cutlery or silverware for knives, forks, and spoons.
We also learned about shopping and groceries. You say to do the shopping, not only to buy food. And when you bring food home, you put the groceries in the fridge.
And then windows. The key word was streaks, those lines left after cleaning. And we explained to mop the floor with the past tense mopped. That was a good grammar point about doubling the consonant.
Yes, and also the rule about not doubling WX or Y. Then we had to vacuum, or in British English, to hoover, and to tidy up, which means to organize things. The opposite of tidy is messy.
Then I confessed about drying clothes in the oven, which gave us a chance to explain oven and stove. Oven is for baking inside, stove is for cooking on the top with pans.
Exactly, and we added to scrub, which means to clean with pressure, like scrubbing a pan or scrubbing the toilet. Then we had to wipe, which is to clean lightly with a cloth, and to rinse, which is to wash quickly with water.
And outside chores, we learned to mow the lawn with a machine called a lawnmower. And also that you say cut your hair, not mow your hair. Then we had to water the plants.
Perfect. And we finish with the general term household chores, which means all these tasks together. And the phrase to share the chores, meaning to divide the work.
That's a lot of useful vocabulary. And I think the listeners will remember it better because of all my accidents.
For sure. Vocabulary plus disasters is the perfect formula.
So, to everyone listening, please practice these words at home. But don't repeat my experiments. No bleach on beds, no socks in ovens, no pasta fossils on the stove.
Very good advice. And that's all for today's episode of Story Orbit N. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time, everyone. And may your chores be easy and your laundry smell fresh.